Hey, loves, how are you? Today we're going to go in depth on the current ascension evolution energies because they are significantly ramped up right now, especially if you're watching this around the time of recording, which is the 1010 portal. We have the solar eclipse in Libra coming up shortly tomorrow. And then we also I've been being shown the dates between 1010 and 1022. So we're going to touch in with those, the activations and downloads that have been coming in. And I'm also going to touch in on some of the major shifts that have been happening for the divine masculine, divine feminine, twin flame, divine counterpart collectives. I'm here for it as long as this needs to take. It might go longer than some of my normal videos. I'm not really sure, but I'm here for it. Okay. So, the physical symptoms, if you guys have been experiencing any pockets over the last few days, they have been very intensified. We're being really called to process physically and emotionally. So I've talked to many people and I've experienced it myself where there's just a need to just go lay down and also to really resource up, making sure that you're eating enough and drinking enough and hydrating and getting your electrolytes and whatever it is that you do to support yourself, taking baths. Actually, this morning I was guided to take a shaman bath. I was taught this many years ago. And I'll just tell you real quick if you want to do that, it's like a sea salt. If you don't have a sea salt, you can use, Epsom salt or whatever salt you have, baking soda and sage oil. If you don't have sage oil, do whatever essential oil you feel guided that you have on hand if you have some. And then for me personally, I always like to add some form of a moisturizing oil, like coconut oil or sunflower or olive oil into the bath as well, just because I like soft skin. But there you go. And then just allow yourself to immerse in it, and you may be guided to do like chakra clearing just while you're in there. But just felt guided to share that with you, just as a way. One, it helps support the body to release and detox any energies on all the different levels, okay, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual. It can be really supportive for that. And of course, bring in any music, incense, anything else that feels supportive for you. Okay, so just really supporting yourself as much as possible. Over the last few weeks, in the groups for nourishing the nervous system, some really big themes have come into those groups that I wasn't actually anticipating. In the first group, there was an additional like higher voice frequency download that came through from the universe that was really like filling in the frequencies within the voice chakra, the throat chakra that had not been activated and or that our parents or ancestors weren't able to pass down to us because they didn't have it in their system. So if you want to tune in with that. And then this week, there was a huge activation that came through for me while working in a session around connecting with the monad and five higher chakras above the crown activated. Now, I've worked with other higher chakras and lower chakras into the earth, aside from our general seven chakra system, but this in particular, these upper five chakras above the crown were very much connected to the seven chakra system. And I was shown and told it's a 12 chakra system. And the five that were being activated and strengthened were actually connected with our pre-birth plan. And so as you connect or resonate with that, you may find it much easier to connect with what your purpose and um path will be moving forward. Also, been finding the theme for those of you that are in a divine counterpart twin flame connection, that this is activating that soul plan and purpose with your counterpart at a new and deeper level as well. When these came in for the throat and the third eye in the crown, I myself kept getting these downloads that I had to come into that inner union within my upper chakras. And so I had been working with that and kept getting the message around there was more that wanted to open up in the third eye and the crown. And I think maybe last week I did a video touching on that this was opening for the masculines, but there was something the feminines were not seeing or that wanted to open up with the feminines as well. And so here you have it. This is at least the download and the transmission I've been receiving, and it feels strong enough. I was guided to share it with you because someone who wasn't even in the group sent me a video from the woman Diana Cooper, who's been like a well-renowned author, spiritual teacher, did a video a few days ago actually kind of describing this exact activation that she's going to be holding on 10/22, which was a date I was getting, and then realizing that we were already getting and receiving the codes and the guidance for this higher activation that's strengthening both telepathy and our connection to peace and inner peace and abundance, so that we can really focus on supporting that for ourselves and on the planet. But I feel like I myself am going to be strengthening these upper five chakras in my system, but felt very deeply guided to share that with you so that you can connect with it in whatever way it resonates with you. Maybe some of you have already had this experience. Of course, I would love to hear from you in the comments. But for those of you that are, following the masculine and feminine collectives, for your own connection, for your work that you do, or just overall for the planetary energies, I'm going to also dive into how this, I've been shown a real lot in the past week and getting, again, synchronistic messages from lots of directions that the feminine collective is strong enough and stable enough and holding their heart energy open and have moved from the root chakras. Okay, so when masculines and feminines come together and are in their love bubble or in their activation stage, initiation stage, and the masculine activates the feminine and unlocks her to move down into her lower chakras and embody and unravel the information that's ready to go from her trauma and her pain of the past in this life and ancestrally. Then she drops in and embodies into those lower chakras and into the earth. And we've reached a collective turning point where enough of the divine feminines have reached a strong enough stabilization point internally and collectively on a bigger scale that this is now shifting to hold space for the masculine collective to receive their initiation, to move up into the higher chakras and begin to have their initiation into whatever it is that they're here to do next. Okay. So they were holding space for the feminines to walk through their initiation. And not that we're not still initiating, but we've become strong and stable enough in our ability to work and handle it in these very, very intense energies. And we're moving so quickly that now the masculines, it's kind of like we passed the baton. The feminines went down into the roots, into the earth star, are embodying and strengthening, rose back up to the higher chakras, definitely in the process of opening those 5 higher chakras. And not that it could, in it probably is happening for the masculines in their own way. I'm just going to speak about what I've been seeing particularly around the masculine feminine collectives. But with that, yes, a masculine in the group even wrote to me and was aware of the shift in his crown. So we will see how this collectively pans out, but it feels like it's allowing the masculines now to work. Like if the feminines work from the roots up to the crown, and the masculines get activated in the crown and down into the roots. Now knowing that there's these other five upper chakras that are being activated strongly right now, there may be more to that. Also, for those of you that it resonates, if you have a counterpart, if you don't have a counterpart, if you feel guided to work with your monad, those are like the 12 dimensional aspects of you. So I'll let you connect with that, how you connect with it. Okay. I feel like there was more that wanted to come through. I'm just going to see what I'm guided to share with you. All right. Thanks. I feel like I'm going to just use some cards to see what might want to come through. There was a lot. I felt like I was going to be on here a while, but who knows? Maybe we're just moving so quickly. All right, I feel like actually the masculines want to come through with a message. Sky Bridge, possibility for union. Wow. Okay. So right through, it's like holding that space within your heart, within your body to just stabilize in the energy, whatever's happening, even when triggers or whatever comes up, working to neutralize and stabilize yourself as quickly as possible, allowing yourself to stay open, to allow that inner pillar and the inner energy to stay open through your system and staying stable in the higher energy to allow the inner union and the outer union. What I'm being shown is as the feminines are open and receptive to receiving the support from their masculine within the lower chakras or within their system in whatever way the masculine is ready to provide and support the feminines, it actually allows the feminine to receive the support and be in that receptive mode. And as she continues to stabilize and anchor into the energy, again, the masculine is then freed to also move into a more open-hearted, open energy system where he can work through his initiation and stabilize with the feminine as well through the upper chakras. This is what they're showing me. It's like as we as the feminines allow ourselves to receive the support from our masculines, in turn, it allows him to receive the support from us. Okay. It allows the masculines to receive our support. And this is where you want to work through clearing any distortion around the 3D past connection that you may have had and connect back to that higher soul birth plan of who you are truly at a core soul level, individually and to one another. Okay. So, in essence, your mission and purpose right now is to transmute any distortion that comes up in your system or within the shared space, or to support that. Like you're not doing it, the feminines are not doing it for the masculines, just like the masculines didn't do it for the feminines. We're being called to definitely walk our own initiation. But again, as the masculines held space for the feminines to move through their shadows, we are now, as the feminines, doing the same for the masculines in a much larger, broader, collective, planetary scale. Okay. So as you move into that feminine receptive energy of being open to your true masculine, again, you allow him the space to receive the support of his true feminine. Okay. This feels like an important message to allow yourself to absorb. And of course, follow your intuition in whatever way you're guided. Okay. Let's see what else comes through. I feel more in the voice opening up as I'm talking. I feel like the masculines do want to share some more. Wow, okay, this card has been coming out so much. Wisp of the Will, treasures hidden in the shadows, and I felt this one wanted to come with it. Netcaster, preparation coming to fruition. So this to me feels like why I was feeling that throat energy activation coming up. So I feel like this is in all of the collective. We're all receiving these upper and throat chakra upgrades, but it feels in particular that the masculines, with this face coming through, what feels like that high heart. I always see the high heart in this turquoise butterfly type energy. So to me, this right now is signifying that high heart and the masculine coming into this space between their voice and their heart. And this is being activated at a deeper level for all of us, but in particularly holding space, safe space, unconditional space in the energetic fields for the masculines to feel safe to go through this process. Okay. And then preparations come to fruition. This is another thing that hasn't happened in a really long time. In Wednesday's group, a white light of truth came in, and I've worked with the blue flame of truth, but this very strong, supportive, loving white light was coming in. And to me, this was signifying the fact that we are ready and prepared to embody and help anchor and stabilize and bring in these much higher frequencies of white light than maybe that our physical vessels have not necessarily been able to handle this strongly in the past. The biggest theme that I can tell you guys about this last few weeks is that, yes, we've had activations and it felt like we reached a very strong point where we had taken those as far as we could take them. And we opened up like 5 more dimensions of ourselves in the physical world. Okay. So we've been embodying more and more of our higher self into physicality. And because we're doing such an amazing job anchoring and stabilizing and handling that, everything is getting ramped up faster and faster and building a tremendous amount of momentum to where we just unlocked 5 more dimensions of our own selves because we're ready to start filling those in. Where what I was shown like 3 years ago, like I told you, we were kind of operating at around 25% of this bandwidth. And then we got blasted open to 100%. And we had to spend the next 2, 3 years trying to learn how to navigate, clear out our past trauma and ancestral patterns, and actually fill in that other 75% with our true soul energy. And I'm not saying we're perfect in all of this. We're all still growing and learning, of course, but basically, we've reached a collective point together because we are in this together where we've done enough collectively that we were able to unlock all of these other dimensions to allow us to not only hold more, but receive more, anchor more, and ultimately share more collectively together. Okay. And this is being acknowledged, and it does feel that in time, as the masculines are able to safely move into the next levels of their initiation, feeling the stability and the strength and the unconditional love of the feminines is going to allow them to begin to use their voices in a completely new way. The same way the feminines are learning and opening up different energies within all of the chakra systems, the masculines are going through the same. But this in particular, I can feel it so much in my throat right now. It feels like, ooh, like I can even breathe better just sharing this information with you right now. It's like A gag order is being lifted off of the masculines as they open up into their true higher self. And this explains to me this morning, I've been up since 3 a.m. and I needed to just sit, but I felt this frustration in my system in a limiting type of way. And what I feel is happening is the masculines are reaching this point of frustration in what they've accomplished within the bandwidth they were working in. And they're feeling so suppressed, so squished, and so limited that they're actually just starting to burst out into the other energies, dimensions, and chakras. And to me, it's like this, they're showing me almost like explosive, but it's not. It's like a radiant opening. It's very fast and very strong. It feels like it actually has a pretty stable energy to it too. And what I'm sensing is that as the feminines are holding the stability for the masculines to open up, the masculines are able to access their own natural stability in a deeper way because now they have the space to do it because they've been freed from their old roles of holding the shadow mirror so the feminines could do her shadow work, right? And now the masculines are being freed from having to hold those spaces in the shadows so that they can discover who they truly are. Because maybe some of the feminines have been frustrated that the masculines haven't been coming forward, or they think they haven't been doing their work or whatever have you, but the masculines have been just as frustrated in a sense because they felt like they weren't doing everything they needed to be doing or wanted to do. But now they're able to start doing that. And the more I talk about this, the more the energy is opening up down into my heart and through my back. I hope you guys are feeling that. It is almost like, whoo, like the masculines are about to get their wings. And I'm seeing that the fallen codes or the fallen angel codes or the places or spaces where they believed that they weren't good enough or they were suppressed into these roles of a more subservient energy to a different energy around masculines, that is breaking free so that they can step into their true masculine energy, their true sacred masculine energy that has always been and resided within them. It's always been the truth of who they are at a core level within their heart. And now they're being freed to actually know and embody that part of themselves as their programming from the old world and the old ways are being cleared, unraveled, released, and cleaned, and their true self has space to be activated within their own being. It's always been there. Like I said, pre-birth plans, right? It's just we were put to sleep in so many ways. Those higher five chakras just came online for me 3 days ago. And it wasn't because I've been asleep, so to speak. You guys know I've been on here, but it's these steps and stages that we're reaching together, these marker points where we're making sure that we're stable enough to handle it so that it's actually truly supportive. It might feel slower at times, but in the scheme of things, we're taking a little bit longer so that it's that much stronger of a true foundation, truly embodied and unshakable strength in a way that we've never experienced in this lifetime. Okay, loves. The masculines want me to get a few more cards. The tarot is usually like the regular tarot for me usually signifies very physical, 3D, physical day-to-day life messages. So we have the Six of Pentacles and the Hierophant. The masculines are balancing out karma, they're balancing out energies, and the masculines do it in the physical world where a lot of feminines have been doing a lot of the work in the intuitive, spiritual, and energetic realms. Where we've been reconciling in the energies, the masculines have been reconciling their karma. Wow. And balancing things out in the physical world. So they've been clearing up karmic relationships and karmic energies and karmic patterns. But they are moving into this Hierophant energy, which to me, for some reason, speaks to me as the masculine temperance. Like, whereas the temperance card, I know it can be masculine or feminine, but for some reason, that's like the feminine version of the temperance, where this is the masculine version of the temperance for me, where they're really embodying or preparing to embody more into their leadership and true masculine, sacred masculine energies. With that, you hear my voice. Wow. Ooh, it's going to take time. Give it space and grace. Space and grace is my theme and my motto. My two themes and mottos are space and grace and realistic, optimistic, right? It's like give things space, everyone grace. We are literally transforming and evolving as physical, emotional, and spiritual beings within ourselves, but then on this entire planet. We don't know how that's affecting everyone. All we have to do is hold the highest space for ourselves and the highest potential for everyone else and allow them space and grace to go through their process and to move in that as we continue to move through ours. Okay? Space and grace, my loves. And I'm going to touch on that realistic, optimistic, right? This is not about walking around with rose-colored glasses like everything's going to be perfect all the time, but being optimistic and hopeful and understanding that we are moving into these higher energies. We are getting it done. You're doing amazing. You're doing awesome. And the realistic, optimistic part is that we're able to be this level of optimistic because we're not denying the real truth. We're not in denial of what's happening on the planet. We're not in denial that there's shadows or things that need to get worked on because we're looking at them within ourselves. And so when we're willing to look at the real truth from within, is we're asking to align with the truth outward, we're standing in a space of being realistic. It's not being negative. It's just being in truth. Okay. And then we can be optimistic that there are solutions for every single thing that we're seeing. And we can start by finding those solutions within ourselves. All right, loves. Give grace and space to yourself. Give grace and space to the masculines. They are about to move through their own version of what the feminines have been going through the last few years on a broader collective, which I think most of us, or at least many that I've talked to, we were really stripped down bare to losing a lot of things in our life that weren't in that alignment with where we were meant to be as feminines. I know I've spoke to many that were moving, like I lived 14 places and there was all sorts of stuff happening to just each help me shed layers and layers and layers of the energy that weren't truly me. Okay. And yes, there was times that it was intense. It was emotional. And then moving into purifying the physical body and the emotional bodies, like at that deep of a level, it takes time because we have to be able to work with it. And I don't know what the masculine's process is going to look like. You know that they move and process differently than we do. So even more of a reason to trust the masculines to do what they need to do, how they need to do it, and just simply continue to focus on yourself, your process, and remaining open and stable in love, truth, and just a genuine support of space and grace for all. All right, loves, the best that we can. You know, we're going through our own things. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Definitely rest up, definitely resource up, fresh air, support with friends, food, drinks, hydration, whatever it is that you need right now. You may notice that you need significantly more resources to support the body right now. Just honor that. Okay. All right. I love you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And you know, I would love to hear from you. If you're new here, we would love to have you join us. All right. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.